So this is our Sears Kenmore oven range that we bought in 1999. This is 2023. Anyway, it's 20 something years old, and last weekend we had a problem with it. We've been having a problem with it for a while, but we didn't really realize why it was taking so long to preheat the oven. But there's an igniter in there, and that igniter was taking anywhere from 5 to 7 minutes to ignite the gas oven. So this, when you buy it, it's a gas oven. We had to have a plumber convert it to LP propane, but he did a good job, and it was working for 20 something years. But last weekend, the grandkids had made some clay figurines, and the instructions said to set the oven to 250 degrees and to bake those figurines, those clay figurines, inside the oven. So my wife tried to do that, and the oven never fired up at 250, at a setting of 250, and it started smelling like gas in here. So she had to hit the clear button. There's a button over here called clear, which basically turns it. There's also the bake button. Anyway, she had pushed the bake button. She had set it with the down arrow to 250, and it never fired up and started smelling like gas. So she cleared it. Told me something's wrong with that oven. So I'm going to put it on pause, and I'm going to show you some of the paperwork that came with this, and I still have the instruction manuals and stuff. I'm going to pause it. Okay, so this first one here is a repair parts list, and my igniter number is in there. Apparently this applies to 4 different models, and ours just happened to be the third one down. There's a plate, see inside of warmer drawer on right hand side, there's a plate mounted to the oven in there that shows that model number and the serial number. I recorded them over here. This is the Sears owner's guide, and anyway, you can see we bought this in 1999. There's a serial number that came off of that plate, and there's the model number. This is an installation guide, which my plumber probably used whenever he installed that range for us. And we live out here in the country, and we use liquid propane. And here's the installation instructions for LP conversion. And there's the burner tube right there. And I'm going to get into that in the video. You'll actually see this burner tube inside the oven. But over here, the 30-inch gas range, installation instructions, operation of oven burner and oven adjustments, and it says here that it's an electronic ignition burners, and that's the igniter that I had to replace. And it says in here there is a time lapse from 30 to 60 seconds after the thermostat is turned on before the flame appears at the oven burner. And ours was taking 5 to 7 minutes for that flame to appear whenever we would set it at 350 degrees. The minute you push the bake button and you push the up arrow, it defaults to 350 degrees. And my wife uses that quite a bit, that temperature for cooking, baking cakes. So it would work at 350, but it took a long time to preheat because it took 7 minutes just for the doggone igniter to ignite the flame. And it should have only taken 30 to 60 seconds. So I had to replace the igniter, and that's what this whole video is about. And the easiest way to do it, this particular model, you cannot get to the igniter from the back. And I'm going to show you that in the video. You can't get to the igniter by laying the oven range on its back and coming in from the bottom. And I'm going to show you that in the video. It turns out the easiest way to get to the igniter and the burner, well, basically to get to the wiring, is to take this warmer drawer out. And that's not easy to do on this particular model. Other models may be different, but on my model, I'm going to show you at the very end of this video what you have to do to get that warmer drawer out. And it's not easy on this particular model. But if you stick around and watch if you've got this model or you're having trouble getting your warmer drawer out, I'm going to show you how I do it on mine at the very end of this video. With that, I'm going to get into how I replaced the igniter. And I had to go through that opening right there after I got the warmer drawer out. So I've pulled the Kenmore range away from the wall here in hopes that I could see my igniter, but I can't see my igniter. I can only see it through the warmer drawer, which I ended up having to take the door for the warmer drawer off. And you can see here it would be quite hard to take the back panel off if a person wanted to do that. A lot of screws. Would probably have to turn off the gas. Well, for sure turn off the gas. Would probably have to undo this thing. Undo all of these gas fittings. And then after undoing all these screws, maybe I could take the back off, but I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to try to do it through this small opening here, which is really small and going to be hard to do. For the wire nut, I know when I've wire nutted things together in the past, I needed one hand, say my left hand, I'm right-handed, so I use my left hand to hold the wires, and the right hand to twist the wires together and then put the wire nut on. Basically a two-handed job, and I don't think I can get my two hands in there far enough to work on those wires way back there at the back. That's why I was wondering if I could do it from the back. But I can't. I don't think I'm not going to try to take the back off. The other possibility would be to, this is a coil, a warming coil, would be to try to take the bottom off, pull the stove out far enough that I could lay it and put some 2x4s or something back there to keep the gas lines from being smashed down on the floor. And then with this bottom off, you can see it is screwed on. It's too bad it's not just a bottom in it, and that it has this warming electrical coil, which heats up depending on whether you put it on low, medium, or high. Anyway, that would have to be disconnected in some way. Can't see what's behind it without some mirrors, and I tried to put a mirror back there, and all my mirrors were too big to see what's actually back there behind that plate that these come out of. So that would be the worst scenario, I guess, would be to try to take the bottom off or to go through all the trouble to take the back off if I can't seem to do this through this small opening here. Right now, my thought is to undo all those wires there and pull the igniter, pull those wires through the small opening up there, undo the igniter, which is inside the oven, and once I have all the wires and the igniter in my hand, to do the wire nutting and splicing outside of this area, and then put the wires, after they've been wire nutted with a new igniter, back through that opening, and then connect everything back up down there. That's what I'm hoping I can do. Going to stop the video for now. So I just watched a video of a guy who had to replace the igniter on his Kenmore, which is what I have, Kenmore oven. So his wiring was definitely different than mine. He had a different model than mine. I wish mine was the same as his, but it's not. So you can see the two wires coming down here from the igniter. There's this one here, which is longer and goes to the bottom of this connector over here. Now the top wire, if I wiggle it, it appears to be going into this connection right here, which has two wires coming out of it. The brighter white wire comes out of it and loops around and goes to the back connector on this gas valve. So I think in order to take my igniter completely out, I need to disconnect this one, free it from where it's wrapped around back here in the back. I think I've already lifted up this gray covering on this one, this back one, which is where the other wire from the igniter comes down. You can see it coming down right there, and it goes into that back connection on the gas valve. And I've already used a screwdriver to pry that up. This other one, I'm going to have to do the same thing. I'm going to have to lift up that gray, pry up that connector, take it off, and I'm going to have to take the back black one. Well, the wire is white, but you can see the connection way back there is black. I'm going to have to take that one off. Then I think I can take that wire, these two wires, and I can get all those wires up through the opening there and have the igniter in my hand so that when I get the new igniter, I can do a splice on my kitchen table or maybe on my pool table with a blanket spread out on it, because it's just going to be too hard to try to cut these wires, hold them together, and put a wire nut on them inside this confined space. This space is really small from top to bottom. And for me to try to get both of my arms in there and one hold the wires while I twist the connector. I just don't think I can do it. I think I'm going to have to take that stuff out and pull them through that opening. You can see the wires going up through an opening there. Not a very big opening, but I think that's what I'm going to have to do. So you can see here it says you bought this item, and I did, off of eBay, and you see that number there. That's the exact number that shows up on my parts list from my Sears Kenmore range. I'm going to pause it and show you that. So here's a diagram from my Sears range, and you can see here the igniter is part number 19. 19 is this here, 5303935-066 igniter oven. And when I Googled that number, that's when I found this one on eBay. If you notice, that's also a 5303935-066. 41205 IGN5. So here's the box that I just received today. 41205. They call it a universal range oven igniter. Replaces General Electric WB13T10001 Whirlpool. Anyway, I just hooked it up to my ohm meter and I'm getting 85.1 ohms on this thing, which I'm not sure that's as much resistance as it's supposed to have. Because some of the videos I watched, I thought they said it had to have a lot more than that. Anyway, that's what it is. It's not kilo ohms, it's just 85.1 ohms. So I'm going to install it and hope that it works good. I'm going to pause it for now. So this video is already about 18 minutes long. So I'm going to make a part 2. If you want to see how I remove that igniter and burner tube from the oven, make the splices I need to make for the new igniter, and put that new igniter back into the oven and show you how it works. And I'll also show you how to remove the warmer drawer in part 2. I'll put a link in the description for part 2.